Hey, fellow shrinkers. I am here with Marsha Baldwin, and she is going to share her awesome testimony with you.
Okay, I was very leery about using the Drink2Shrink, but in 2012 I had a heart attack. Because of medication I was on, I had went from 150 pounds to over 260 pounds. My blood pressure was at stroke level. My LDLs were over 260. My HDLs were high, but it was an unhealthy high. My A1Cs were 8 and 9. It would fluctuate between 8 and 9. I started the Drink2Shrink program, I believe it was this July. And I skipped a part. In between 2012 and up to July, I have gained and lost 60 pounds 4 different times. I'd lose it, it'd come back off. I'd lose another 30, it'd come back on. I'd lose that 30 again, 40 would come back on. I was tired. My doctor kept telling me I had to stop thinking about it as dieting, because when you diet, the word die is in there. So you're not dieting, you're dying, because you're not eating healthy, you're not eating correctly. I was at a standstill, I didn't know what to do, but my first purchase was this thing. I hate it. My granddaughter and I would take 15 minutes to squeeze into this. 15 minutes to squeeze out, huffing and puffing. I would wear this thing. It never got to the third thing here. It was squeezing into this, huffing and puffing, crying, couldn't breathe. And I didn't look thinner, I didn't look slimmer. I just looked like I had been stuffed into a sausage casing. Then Shahida started her Drink2Shrink process. And I watched the weight melt off of her. And I thought, I can do this. But I first talked to my doctor. And my doctor was very leery. She asked me to have Shahida let me know what the ingredients were. How did it work? The same thing with the Fat Blaster drops. So my doctor was like, okay, let's try the Drink2Shrink first, and then we'll see where we go. At the time I started the process, I was 240 pounds. Shahida and I have gone back and forth about me taking a picture and doing something like this, but I was too embarrassed. I wasn't embarrassed about how I looked. I was embarrassed about how I looked. The first month I went from 240 and I dropped to 230. And that was doing it the way my doctor wanted me to do it. The next month I went from 230 to 214. I could feel the weight, I was feeling better. And I thought, okay, this is going to work. Well, I fell, going down my steps, going into my garden to work. And I wound up taking the Drink2Shrink, but I wasn't exercising. I wasn't doing anything to exasperate my back injury. The next time, with the next month, when we came back, my doctor was working with me with this. And she kept saying, this is really changing you. I have shared with Shahida, I have gone, at this point right now, I have gone from 260 pounds to 190 pounds. I have my LDLs were 270. My LDLs are now 70. My A1Cs would float between 8 and 9. I was on metformin, I was on this, I was on that. They never came down. My A1Cs are now a 5. My blood pressure is down to what's normal for me. I've learned from my doctor when other people say, oh, normal is 120 over 80, that's not everybody's normal. My normal is 130. My blood pressure is down to 128 over 70, which is good for me. I would encourage anybody that is looking at this process to follow the guidelines. I eat a lot of fruit. I don't fry foods anymore. I purchase an air fryer. So if I want something crispy, I put it in the air fryer. I'm learning recipes from Shahida. I'm learning that food has been a comfort for me. Well, what I started doing is when I get into a place where I feel like I have to cook because it makes me feel better, I cook it. I cook all that stuff and I send it across the street to my 2 neighbors. They're older, they don't cook. They like my cooking, so I'll cook it. I get my stress off. I feed them. The other good thing about it is my granddaughter has started this process. When she started it, she was at 215, 216. She's down to 204. She doesn't want to get on camera though. So her weight is coming down. Again, I would encourage anybody that's looking for a way to get the weight off and to do it healthy. I chose to do it with my doctor because I had other medical issues that were going on. My doctor was like, as long as this works, it's great. But the best thing about it is for the first time, I've taken this weight off slowly and it hasn't come back on. So Drink2Shrink. I prefer pineapple. You all can drink what you want, but my preference is pineapple. And enjoy. And look what Shahida gave me.